It was 3 years ago that we began reporting on Xinjiang on an almost daily basis. We would tell the world how over 1 million Uyghurs are being detained in Xinjiang, how something very similar to Auschwitz was repeating itself in the 21st century. But supply chain is a cruel thing. And because China is at the center of most supply chains, countries were uncomfortable talking about Xinjiang or discussing anything that would touch China's raw nerve. It took a China-exported virus to change everything. More than a year into the pandemic, Western countries are now clashing with China at the United Nations. The US, the UK, Germany recently organized a virtual event to talk about what was happening in Xinjiang. China lobbied against it. It warned countries against taking part in this. Reports say China's ambassador to the United Nations personally sent text messages to diplomats from Western nations, and he asked them to think twice before participating. What do you think happened next? Take a look at this report.
China does not like to be spoken about unless the words are praises. Criticisms attract the dragon's wrath. A mention of Xinjiang, fire. Ask for access to Xinjiang, and you get Chinese imams lying through their teeth.
Today, Xinjiang enjoys economic development and social stability, and people live in harmony. And we Muslims live a very happy life too. We are grateful to the party and government from the bottom of our heart.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Let's rewind a little.
In Xinjiang, people are being tortured.
On the 12th of May, there was a virtual meeting on the situation in Xinjiang. It was organized by Germany, the US and the UK, and co-sponsored by Canada, Australia, New Zealand, among others. China had tried to stall this meeting. Beijing lobbied against it, asked UN members to stay away. Text messaged UN ambassadors from 15 Western nations asking them to think twice.
From a growing number.
Alas, nothing worked. The virtual event was held and was attended by 51 countries. Several rights groups joined in. Here are the highlights.
In Xinjiang, people are being tortured. Women are being forcibly sterilized. There are incredible reports that many Uyghur people and other ethnic and religious minorities who only wish to practice basic freedom of religion, belief, expression, and movement are being forced to work until they drop.
This is a wider situation, probably one of the worst human rights crises of our time.
Now, the Chinese government claims that this is about fighting terrorism. But frankly, Beijing doesn't even pretend that this is a targeted effort. The sweeping, broad-based persecution is a blatant attack on Islam and on Uyghur culture. Terrorism is a feeble pretext.
About fighting for human
Speaker after speaker rained rebukes on China.
Crimes against humanity.
Some even took on the UN Human Rights Commission for not doing enough. The UN Human Rights Commissioner, Michelle Bachelet, was called out for not joining the event.
Do not let China's portrayal of critiques define your motivation.
One country that saw nothing wrong with what was happening in Xinjiang.
Xinjiang is a beautiful, peaceful, and prosperous place. Your attempt of using Xinjiang to contain China is doomed to fail. Over 1,200.
This was Gu Jiankun, a diplomat from China. Xinjiang is peaceful was his version of the truth. By the end of the event, China was battered with criticism. The consensus was loud and clear. An immediate, meaningful, and unfettered access to Xinjiang. Cut to the day after, an event marking the end of Ramzan was organized in Beijing. It was well orchestrated. Invites were sent out to foreign diplomats. The doors were opened to the press and cameras. And then Beijing paraded with some very well-trained Muslim clerics, each parroting the lines of the CCP.
The anti-China forces in the US and Western countries have shown unusual interest to Muslims in Xinjiang.
Cracking down on religious extremism is to better protect legal religion.
Over 1 million Uyghur Muslims have been put in China's concentration camps. Reports say many have died, many have been raped, forcefully sterilized. China's minorities are disappearing, and it may take more than a set of well-trained CCP imams for China to scrub this genocide from the conscience of the world. From where we stand, China has been cornered on Xinjiang, and sooner rather than later, it will be made to pay. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.